Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down one of the most personal and, honestly, one of the biggest decisions a family can make, whether or not to have a second child. And we're going to do it using a really thoughtful firsthand account as our guide to kind of build a framework for this huge question. So, let's just start with the central question, the one that so many couples find themselves asking. And as we're about to see, it's not really about finding a simple yes or no answer, is it? It's much more about going on a journey of discovery together. So here's how we're going to break it all down. We're going to walk through a framework that one couple used. We'll start with their long-term vision, then get into the question of timing, tackle the financial reality, and of course talk about partnership alignment. It all leads to that final takeaway. All right, let's dive in. Okay, first step, and this one might actually surprise you. It's not about the immediate future, the chaos of another baby in the house. It's about looking way, way down the line, decades even, and asking what you really want your family to look and feel like. The couple in our source talked about this really powerful, almost gut feeling they had. Even with their amazing first child, when they looked deep into their future, that vision of their family just felt, well, incomplete, like there was something missing from the picture. Now, what's so interesting is how they took that abstract feeling and made it concrete. They didn't just feel it, they actively tried to see it. They pictured holidays, family dinners, maybe a big birthday celebration 20 years from now, and asked a very simple question: who is sitting around this table? Okay, so let's move from that big picture vision to the next pillar, which is much more practical. We're talking about the question of timing, and specifically what the age gap between siblings might look like for your family. And this is a perfect illustration of how our own childhoods can really shape our desires, right? The husband grew up with siblings who were 2 years apart. The wife's siblings were even closer, only about a year to a year and a half apart. The key thing, though, was that they both loved being close in age to their siblings, and that really influenced their preference for a smaller age gap. And there it is, 17 and a half months. So the crucial point here is that they were actively aiming for that closeness. They knew it could mean that famous and sometimes chaotic 2-under-2 situation, but based on their vision and their own positive experiences, it was a challenge they actually felt ready and even excited to take on. Of course, having the vision and thinking about timing is wonderful, but it all has to be grounded in reality. And that means balancing the dream with a clear-eyed, really practical look at the finances of adding another person to the family. The source really emphasizes asking this question for the entire journey. It's not just about today's budget. It's not just, can we afford diapers right now? It's about a commitment that lasts for 18 years and probably a lot longer than that. So they broke it down into these key areas. First, can you cover the day-to-day basics? Then, thinking down the road, what if your kid gets into a really expensive hobby, like travel hockey or something? And finally, what about those big-ticket future items, like saving for college? And this was a vital piece of their financial decision, something they called the equality principle. For them, this was a non-negotiable, a core family value. They needed to be absolutely certain that they could offer their second child the same opportunities and the same support that they were providing for their first. And this all leads us to what is, you could argue, the most important pillar of all. Because you can have the vision, you can have the timing, you can even have the finances sorted out, but none of it matters if you and your partner aren't navigating this whole thing as a unified team. The source offers this really useful, really gentle process for having these conversations. And the key is understanding that it is totally okay, even normal, if you aren't perfectly aligned right at the beginning. The goal isn't immediate agreement, it's just keeping an open and ongoing dialogue. It's also so important to acknowledge reality. I mean, your feelings about having another baby can absolutely change from one week to the next, depending on what's going on. If your first child is going through a tough sleep regression, you might not be so keen on the idea. And that's exactly why allowing that space and revisiting the topic regularly without any pressure is so important. So, after you've considered the long-term vision, the timing, the finances, and you've been communicating openly with your partner, what's the ultimate decider? What's the thing that finally tips the scales? And this is the core takeaway, right here. The perfect moment to have another kid, it probably doesn't exist. Instead, the right decision comes from working through all of these different pieces together until you're truly aligned, and you can trust that shared right feeling to guide you forward.